when we go through a significant change in our lives, our spiritual orientation inevitably changes. And what I mean, at least for this video, what our spiritual orientation, what I mean by that is, it's like the way we see the world, like where we see the world from. What part of our mind and being are we using to navigate the world? So let me give you an example. A lot of my clients in the sharing circle and individually have been going through this change, which is one of the reasons why I want to talk about it. I think that it seems to be something that could be useful right now, is moving from more of a intellectual and a perceptive, kind of an upper chakra orientation, where you kind of see things as they are. You see the truth, you see your connection to life, you see the illusions of who you thought you were, and these upper kind of chakra awakenings where these truths come. It's like, oh, life is very different than what I thought it was, a spiritual awakening. Now I see the world bigger. Okay, those are, I'm just going to call those an upper chakra awakening, an upper chakra type perception. Okay, and what happens is, and that usually happens for whatever reason, it tends to happen first with most people, not everyone. Then what happens is, as we start integrating that and embodying those truths, okay, we bring it into our lives. We bring it into our relationships, into our job, into our day-to-day life, into our families, and then it starts getting a little more integrated and relational. We're plugging it into our lives. We're applying it. And this is a little bit of a messier thing. It's more of I call it a heart-centered orientation. And it's a little messier. It works with trial and error. You can't read it out of books, right? You can't really read the other out of books either, but even less so. You can't read out of books. You've got to experience. It's totally experiential. It's like trial and error. It's like trying stuff to see if it works, and that's what kind of awakens this heart chakra, relational orientation. And so what that's like is, where things up here, they just are, like it's just clear. Things just are. Okay. When we drop it down to a more relational orientation, it's more intuitive, and we're kind of feeling our way through. So when we talk about it, or we communicate it, we try to describe it, we might use, it kind of feels like this. You may have heard me, I talk about from this place quite a bit, right? So it's kind of like when you went to kindergarten, you didn't know what the hell was going on. Like we use a lot of metaphors. It's kind of like this. It feels like this, because we're trying to describe this experience, this thing that we're experiencing. It could be a thing we're feeling. It could be a thing that we're feeling intuitively, and then we're trying to describe that experience. And there's not often like a linear, logical, rational words to put to it. It's like trying to describe a spiritual experience. It's trying to describe something that you're intuiting, or that you're perceiving, or that you're feeling. Okay, they're not feelings, and intuitions are not always logical. So we're trying to do that, and it's more relational. And as we do that, we start learning little by little. It's like almost this trial and error, where we try stuff because it's purely experiential. And it is a higher awareness as well, but this, especially in this heart-centered orientation, it's purely experiential. We have to experience it to awaken it. So we try stuff. We have a lot of trial and error and a lot of error. It's like this. It's like we're trying to figure out life again. It's almost like adolescence. It's like going back to adolescence and figuring out how things work, which is maybe why we avoid it for a while, because it's awkward. It's really vulnerable. And we don't really know, in this new orientation, we don't really know how life works. It's like it's a different world. We're different. We're in a different place. The world seems different. The things we used to try, to like rationally, intellectually, they don't work down here as much. We have to try a new way of navigating through life, you know? And so the other thing that happens when we go through this change, and this is one of the main reasons I want to talk about it, is when you change orientation, like it takes a while. You almost have to like rewire your brain. Okay. And it, you know, this happens after like an ego death or a big change. It's like the way you used to access your brain and your mind and your, you know, kind of your computer, the way to articulate things, that changes. It used to be oriented more up intellectually. And now it's like, it's wiring itself differently. So these connections start changing and we start creating new connections, more intuitive, more heart-centered connections. And when that happens, it's not always a graceful process. And I can definitely, you know, allege to that. There's sometimes you feel, you know, sometimes it just feels like you're not very articulate. You're not able to describe what you're experiencing. You forget things. The word, you know, a lot of you, it almost feels like you're going a little crazy or that you're not as smart as you used to be. And it can be very disorienting, hence orientation, disorienting. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me, you know, and, you know, I really recommend, this is a time to have compassion, like extra doses of self-compassion for yourself. Allow, my suggestion, and I learned this the hard way with myself, and you know, I offer it to my clients, allow yourself compassion, allow yourself to go through this somewhat vulnerable, sometimes awkward, sometimes frustrating process. It's like pushing, it's like breaking through the egg. It's like, it's a frustrating, can be. It's also beautiful and amazing, but sometimes it can be frustrating. And you may think that you're like, what's wrong with me? You know, am I like getting dementia? Am I like losing my mind? Am I not as smart? You know, what's wrong with me? You know, am I getting some new type of disease or disorder? You know, did I get like ADHD super complex or something? Like what is going on? You know, and what may be going on is maybe you're just reorienting, maybe, and you're rewiring your brain. What will happen over the next, I don't know, 3-6 months or so, as you go through this, you will start reconnecting and rewiring, and you'll be able to articulate more naturally of what you're experiencing. It'll be different. And then you will feel like it, and you'll feel different still, but it's the awkward, I don't know what's going on and I'm not able to speak, that changes. And so I really encourage people in the sharing circle, like there's often in the sharing circle or in sessions, people will be like, you know, it just feels like they feel like they're not able to get to the point. They're like, it's kind of like this, but I don't know what it, and then, you know, they're trying to describe it and they're like, oh, this is ridiculous. I'm like, no, finish that out. Like come up with words for what your experience is. Like describe the experience and what it's like. Like what are you experiencing? What are you experiencing right now? And just tell us what that is. Use the best words possible. Let go of being articulate. Let go of being smart, and just try to describe what it is you're experiencing. And by doing that is what helps you move through this transition, helps you kind of rewire, and then you get to draw from both the upper chakra openings and the heart chakra. They find balance, you know, but that process, you know, doesn't always, it takes some time for us to, like, you know, re-navigate and refigure out how to navigate life, I guess would be a better way to say it. So anyway, that is my video for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really great week, and you know, and just notice is like, maybe if you're coming from a different perspective, just have a little more compassion and maybe work through like describing what you're experiencing, even if the words don't come easy. And I will see you in a week.